thank you there for that player for just briefly notifying me. So you did unfortunately lose the very start of that match, but hopefully you got the gist from what was going on with the audio. Scaphism now throwing down his barracks, just to start to put on the aggression towards his opponent. AfterSTAR's house is going to go down now, but his barracks is going to probably be about a full 30-40 seconds behind. So I'm not sure how much Scaphism can get done here. He does know about the forge in the background, so with 2 barracks he can afford to be more aggressive. But it does put a bit of a timer on it. It's going to take about 2 minutes for this +1 defense to finish. And then AfterSTAR will have the advantage again. So you're going to see, yep, there we go, 2 racks out there from Scaphism. So Scaphism is just going to try and put on as much pressure as he can before these upgrades start to finish. Now the armor upgrade here actually from Scaphism is going to indicate possibly, sorry, from AfterSTAR, it's going to give us an indication of the build he wants to go for. Normally the reason you get armor is to go into +2 armored soldier to sort of benefit their natural armor. So that is going to be a bit of a tick off. Right now there's no way of really seeing what upgrade is being researched. But the other way Scaphism can actually get a hint of which build is going to come out with his opponent is seeing how hard he leans towards one unit choice or the other. And Scaphism actually going for quick mages behind this, so possibly suspecting a +2 rifleman behind him. And AfterSTAR's barracks are on the way now, but again they're going to be about, well, this one's going to be a short while behind, but this one's going to be about another 30 seconds behind. But +1 armor is nearly done now. So this build out of AfterSTAR may pay off. Doesn't look like Scaphism is actually going to go for the aggression here. He's left his soldier at home. And this is going to be soldier first out of AfterSTAR as well. Alright, so +1's going to finish up now, so this window of opportunity for Scaphism to really put some damage in is going to go. Putting down a 3rd barracks behind this. And AfterSTAR actually going up to 3 barracks as well. So it looks like it is going to be quite a 2-based sort of play here from both players. Just because of how vulnerable this 3rd base is. There's going to be pure soldiers out of both, well, out of Scaphism for the moment. There is a rifleman out of AfterSTAR, but it is a long way from completion as these 3 soldiers march into the natural. And we're going to have to see how he holds on here. AfterSTAR starting up a house to make sure he doesn't get supply blocked during this fight. So it's going to be interesting. AfterSTAR is now actually going to have units finishing up in about 10 seconds here. Scaphism just sort of dancing a bit. He's not really done much damage yet, which he really needs to now that +1 is done. AfterSTAR doesn't really want to lose this rifleman, but he is getting some damage on these soldiers, which is nice. Scaphism, I think Scaphism was just a little bit indecisive there. He really wanted to get some damage done, but didn't quite play it out the way he probably should have done. We will have more units coming in now, and he is almost on his way to his first mage. But mages are going to suffer against the build out of here from AfterSTAR. AfterSTAR actually going for this +2 armored soldier build, and mages do fairly well up against them in sort of larger numbers, generally because of the power of AoE, but there is a lot of armor on these soldiers and they're not quite as low health as the riflemen are. He does win an engagement here in the center, which is nice. He does have +1 armor soldiers now, so I'm not really sure he can afford to engage in the middle here. AfterSTAR just retreating back. The nice side of this though is despite the fact that he's not winning engagements, this does mean that Scaphism does keep map control for a while. As AfterSTAR actually has to pull some workers to protect himself there. Worker might go down. Oh, okay, nope. Nips out there in the nick of time. You can see both players are actually saturated on bases. Scaphism, as I said, now he has that map control, he can just afford to just take a third in the background. AfterSTAR doesn't really want to move out right now. But with +3 armor on the way now, he does already have +2. So the time is really running out for Scaphism. He's got map control-ish and the third base on the way, but he's now going to face a larger force of more upgraded soldiers. He does have mages, and I do believe, yeah, he does have a heal spell, which is nice. And heal spell is very efficient, but these mages are going to get caught out here from Scaphism. They're caught up against the trees. They're trying to do some damage, but they're actually having to spend heal energy on themselves as the soldiers try and engage over here. Workers are being pulled from AfterSTAR. Oh, and this mage gets pinned up against the tree. That's going to go down pretty quickly. More heal energy being spent trying to keep it alive. And I think AfterSTAR will actually defeat this push pretty solidly. More mages up here coming in from Scaphism, but he doesn't have enough meat at the front to hold these soldiers back. And these +2 soldiers are just going to roll straight over this force. AfterSTAR not quite on top of everything at the moment. You can see he's got a few units sitting idle, but it doesn't really matter because Scaphism's mages are just getting pushed all the way back here. You can see he's gone nearly pure mage, which, although it's decent, it isn't quite as strong as you'd like. You do need this soldier meat at the front. He's trying to heal those soldiers up now. And we'll actually take off that soldier. But really he needs to be aiming for a soldier mage composition. And he just doesn't have it yet. He needs a lot more meat at the front, and he's got only mages in production. AfterSTAR's upgrades, he's actually gone double forge now. And he is going to have +2/+1 finishing off very shortly here as he comes into this third base. But Scaphism just doesn't have any meat at the front, and he doesn't have fireball to really deal with these soldiers. So I don't think there's much he can really do, and I think this third base is going to be forfeit here. You can see both players did choose to skip the tower, which does give you a lot more gold to play with. But when you're in a situation like this, it is a bit sketchy. He does get the soldiers into a nice choke, so he's going to be able to hold those off by spending heal energy. But you can see how poorly the mages are trading here with soldiers. And he's going to try and crawl back to this choke. You can see with +2 armor for a total of 3, and this 6 damage mage just doesn't do anything. It's going to take so many hits to deal with a soldier. In the meantime, there's AfterSTAR's soldiers on the third base dealing with all the workers there. So Scaphism's advantage is rapidly going to dwindle. Scaphism is holding on pretty well here at the third, as more barracks go down, and a third of AfterSTAR. You can see AfterSTAR's now getting into the natural base, and workers do get pulled. But again, the workers are going to do even less damage. They're only going to do 2 damage a hit, as AfterSTAR rolls another wave of soldiers into the third base here. More workers are going to get caught out. The push in the main base though is going to get sort of dealt with, but that big advantage from taking the third base is going to just be gone now. And there we go. Scaphism just cleans up that soldier in his natural. But he's going to have to run pretty quickly around to deal with these soldiers sitting on his third base, because their upgrades are now going to probably finish completing. He starts to pull soldiers away from the natural, but this castle's actually at half health now. He's got to react faster to this, or he will lose the third base, which will put him in a massive disadvantage against his 3 base opponent. More workers getting chased off here as he does finally react and start to move out. But more reinforcements come swarming in here from AfterSTAR. And it looks like this third base is going to be forfeit. He doesn't really have workers to repair. And he doesn't have any fireball to deal with these massive clumps of soldiers. And there we go. Third base falls down there for Scaphism. And it's going to be a very risky position from now. Both players on about 4 or 5 barracks here. But Scaphism's going to struggle to really afford all of these as he's not got a base mine. AfterSTAR now slowly starting to saturate his own third. He's not quite on top of everything. So that is a possible weakness for him in this sort of set here. See, Fireball now starts up the Scaphism in the background. But AfterSTAR is now at +2/+2 with a massive swarm rifle of the soldiers. 11 soldiers now versus 3. Scaphism just desperately hoping that this Fireball is going to give him the edge he needs, as it actually just slips straight past his rifle. There's about a minute and a half left on this Fireball, and AfterSTAR is getting in position. I don't think he's going to be given the time he wants. As AfterSTAR closes in from both directions here, another reinforced wave for AfterSTAR is about to pop as he starts to put pressure on this right hand side. Soldiers poking back in and out on the lower hand side. As Scaphism army does come out now to try and deal with this, but that house does go down the top hand side, which is going to open a lot of space for getting in on top of that army. And AfterSTAR choosing to back off actually, which I don't think is the right decision. Why did you do that? Yeah, okay, so he's going to reinforce his third, and he's going to keep map control. But he really should be going in to put some more pressure on his opponent. He doesn't really want his opponent to get to that Fireball, which is only about 40 seconds away now. Right, so we're going to see the army move back up into position again. But the Fireball is nearly complete here for Scaphism, and if those soldiers get caught in a choke while all these Fireballs land, there is 11 mages here, guys. Most of them at full energy, so that is going to be about 20 Fireballs. Soldiers just checking for any extra bases, confirming that he's got full map control. And Fireball now completes. AfterSTAR not really managing to do much in that interlude, just left his opponent alone, which could be a big mistake here. Fireball completed, now Scaphism starts to move out. If this army gets too clumped up, this could be an interestingly devastating engagement for AfterSTAR. He's actually been playing really well this game. Soldier on the left hand side will spot it, and you can just see how much that +3/+3 is just going to make those soldiers near invincible. And AfterSTAR actually choosing to go round the mages and instead go straight for the main base, knowing he's got towers at home, knowing he's going to be safe, and he has the significantly higher damage force. With all these soldiers in, especially with +3, Mage here from Scaphism's going to try and put up some token resistance as the army comes in. This barracks is going to go down. Scaphism stuck 10 supply behind without this house. And you see, this soldier takes so much damage as AfterSTAR just backs out again. Content that he's done another chunk of damage to his opponent. AfterSTAR is actually AfterSTAR is going to get more catapults behind this, which I don't think he really needs. It allows him to siege up, but it is going to possibly put a vulnerability into his army that isn't really necessary. Catapults are really good for sieging up tower situations, as Fireballs does ring down. Most of them miss from Scaphism there, showing what tech he's gone for, but Riflemen and soldiers will take some hits. But AfterSTAR's kept most of his army in reserve here, allowing his opponent to just burn a lot of energy. And again, he's just going to counter